Say yes every day to the world and to your heart. Open up your eyes and let your spirit start. Say yes to the dreams you hold inside. Let your soul be your guide.
In today's complex mortgage world, finding the right direction can be challenging. That's where Lighthouse Advisors comes in. With over 25 years of experience, we provide fractional leadership and executive oversight, guiding companies through transitions, growth, and innovation. From IMBs to brokers to credit unions to tech firms, our team of seasoned professionals is here to shine a light on solutions, ensuring your business thrives in every environment. At Lighthouse Advisors, we don't just guide, we empower. Together, let's create a ripple of success across the industry. Email us today at laura@lighthouseadvisors.com. Go. Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Wednesday Wisdom. Today, we are joined by the incredible Dan Smokoska. Or is that right? Did I say
So
that right?
close.
All right,
So
I'm going to
close.
say it again to me.
Smokoska.
Koska.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to say it again. I don't want to Smokoska. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Wednesday Wisdom. Today, we are joined by the incredible Dan Smokoska. He is the Director of Sales and Growth at HousingWire. Dan, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. All right, we're going to dive right in. This is all about wisdom and sharing it. So, Dan, first question. I'd love to know, please share with us, what is one of the best pieces of advice that you have ever received, and how did that advice influence your life?
Well, I'm gonna answer this question in kind of maybe an unexpected way.
Okay.
The best piece of advice I ever received um, was actually from myself,
Okay.
and so um, I I realized through a couple of moments in my life where I saw that facing fear resulted in some pretty awesome stuff on the other side, and so I committed to just saying if you sense fear of doing something because you've never done it before, it looks too big, then you have to do it. And so that's what I've done. Whenever I have fear, I take that as a good sign and I go do the thing. And, that's advice that like, I don't know how I got that advice to myself, but it came and that's what I've lived by. And I can like literally look back at all the things that has been good in my life. And I can attribute to that one thing.
I love that. And Dan, we don't know each other well, but man, are we bonding at this moment? Because I literally wrote a book about this. I live my life exactly the same way. That I
Yeah.
feel that being in your comfort zone, it will actually limit you and your potential of what you are meant to achieve in our lives, right? So I'm with
100%.
you. If it's not
100%.
scaring us, if it is not making us uncomfortable, that means it's time to shake it up
Yep.
because we should always be kind of the unknown, right? Let's just look at kids, right? Like I love looking at little kids.
Yeah.
Everything they're experiencing in the beginning of their lives, it's brand new. They have no experience and no knowledge, but yet they have their parents or their family or their teachers or whatever going, it's okay, do this, right? But as we become adults, we have all this experience. And the longer that we live, it's like, yeah, I tried that once and I didn't like the result. So, you know what? I'm not going to do that again. But that's the wrong way to look at it because every situation is different and unique and our timing is different, right? So, how do you keep yourself challenged, right? Like keep going deeper. Like how do you keep challenging yourself?
I mean, like I really just use it like I kind of see it as like a compass or like a metal detector, right? I'm always looking like I I take every phone call pretty much. I take every like conversation that comes up, um and so the more that you are like the more that you're out there, right? Like, so I'm on LinkedIn
Yep.
significantly. More opportunities, the more familiar you become, the more opportunities that you get, and the more, things like this that kind of come your way. And so for me, it's just always being like mindful of and in tune to like what's kind of going on internally, right? So if I like start getting a little bit nervous on something, or getting a little bit like fearful of it, even if it's just a little bit, like I use that as like a metal detector, like I'm on to something, right? And so I kind of keep that going and keep asking those questions, and then just use it again as like fuel to do something new. And again, I don't think there has been a single time where it turned out bad, right? It's always turned out to something really, really good.
I love that. And you just gave another piece of advice that I don't want to skip over. Okay. You just said, listen, I'm out there. I know you're an expert on LinkedIn. I know you do teachings and classes and all of that, and you're brilliant in that stuff. And you just said, I go in being open that whatever connection comes my way, I'm open to that. And I'll share a philosophy that I have that I believe I will give anyone 15 minutes. And in that thought process, you could try to sell me. You want to try to sell me for 15 minutes? Go, right? Like, go ahead. If you want to just ask me a question, you want a piece of advice, you want to ask me to connect you to someone, right? Like, hey, Laura, I see you're connected to someone. Can you introduce me? Fabulous. You've got 15 minutes because I believe that those 15 minutes, there's always something of value.
Yep.
Always. And I think you have learned that philosophy. And that's another piece of advice to share with people because so many times we kind of close ourselves off and we're like, I don't want to be sold, or I don't want to waste my time that this person's just going to ask me for someone in my network. But sometimes it's true. Sometimes it might be a waste of time. I'm not saying it always is beneficial, but you don't know where those gold nuggets are if you close yourself off. I love that. All right, awesome. Next thing I want to cover, leadership, right? We all know, and listen, I'm a big believer in leadership is not a title. Leadership is how we conduct ourselves, how we do our relationships, whether it's personal or professional. I'd love to hear from you. Give me, what do you think the strongest trait of a leader is, and where should you go deep, and how do you use leadership in your life?
It's a good one. It's a good one. Leadership is it's such an important trait to get right. And a lot of people who are in leadership positions aren't leaders, right? The title, the paycheck doesn't make you a good one, right? And so, for me, it is just being as like authentic and supportive as possible. So to get in and to lead by example, all the cliches you can think of, but like there's just something um, when you focus on the goal of the company or your own personal team goals, whatever it is, um, but you also realize that the people that are with you are people and humans, and that there's more important things in life than just the bottom line. Um, how you get to that bottom line is equally important. So I think leadership for me has always been, how do I help the person grow? How do I help that person know that they like I they can come to me with with questions or opinions that might be different than what I've suggested, and like we can have like great conversations about it, and then ultimately decide which route to go. So lead by example, focus on the person, and just realize that there's more to life than just just profit at the expense of everything else.
Well, the thing is when you approach it like that, you wind up usually meeting or exceeding the goal
Usually,
because of the approach,
yeah,
right? And what you described of focusing on the goal or the bottom line, that's usually a scared leader. And you know the type I'm describing, right? We've all met the scared leader, the
Yep.
one that doesn't necessarily have those people skills or that leadership trait to be able to put the other person first. Because leadership is never about you. Of course, it's about the other people and about lifting them up. And when you're your authentic self and you're putting them first, and we all understand where the goal is, we all understand what we're working towards, but every single person is unique. No two of us are motivated or inspired or led the same way, right? But if you make it about them and everyone understands where we're rowing in this direction, right? We're all going towards this. If you follow that, you'll get there. It's the
Yeah.
scared leader that is like, it has to be this way. It has to, like that you're pounding and pounding. That's someone that isn't a leader. It's because they're focused on the end result and they're not focused on, like you said, the journey of
Yeah.
getting.
The
Oh,
fun part.
yes, I love that. That was good. I love that. That was such great advice. All right, we're going to wrap up, Dan. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with all of us. What I'd like to end with is, I'm a big believer in big, hairy, audacious goals. And I'm also a believer that if you don't say it and if you don't put it out there, then you're never going to be working towards it. So I want to hear, and it doesn't even have to be it can be tied to business, but it can also be just a personal goal. I want to hear your moonshot. I want to hear this is something that, hey, I have no idea how I'm going to get there or how we're going to do this, but this is something in my life that I would like to achieve. What would that be?
I'm on a mission to completely change the way marketing and sales operates in the mortgage industry. So I feel like we have been behind in a number of areas. For me, I think that I see so much potential in what companies could do in a better sales process for them, a better, more effective marketing that positions the people in the company in better ways that we can get away from sort of this outdated marketing, but ultimately drive more revenue, help more people, and start leading other industries in how we're marketing and how we're selling through like social selling, et cetera. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and that's my mission at the moment.
I love that mission. That is a powerful mission. And I think we are ripe and ready to do that. You know what I mean? I know I agree with you. The mortgage industry is behind in some of this stuff, but I think we have made some progress over the last couple of years, especially after COVID. And, we are making forward motion. So I think we're open to it. Let's just put it that way, right? But I think you are definitely one of the people that are going to move us forward and position us in the right direction. Dan, thank you so much for participating and sharing your wisdom. And Dan, how can people get in touch with you?
LinkedIn is the best way. Just find me on LinkedIn, send me a DM, tell me that you like listen to this episode, and then I always DM back, so I will message you back. And if you ever have any questions about LinkedIn, social selling, marketing, how to drive business in for your company or your brand, I'm just a DM away on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thank you so much.